So, question 7. We have, how does ADHD affect executive functioning? Now, before you answer that, Andrew, whoa. We know you have a diagnosis of severe ADHD. And if you haven't known it by now, where have you been? But Andrew has written a book called Andrew and the Give-A-Shitometer.
Andrew and the Magic Give-A-Shitometer.
The Magic Give-A-Shitometer. I do apologise. And there was a part in there that you talk about executive functioning, and we did a teaser at the beginning of our questionnaire or our quiz that you want to talk about tiny bubbles as well. So I think this is a good place to start. But before I ask you, because I'm going to ask you to do a reading from your book, which is why I got it there.
I've got it here.
Which is the answer? So, does ADHD affect executive functioning, enhance executive functioning, causes no impact on executive functioning, impairs executive functioning, or only affects memory functions? So
I don't know. Let's find out, shall we? Right. Okay. Now, here we go. This is from Andrew and the Magic Give-A-Shitometer. It's available on Amazon. Every human being has a neurological system for processing information and situations. This system is called executive functioning. People with ADHD have very different executive functioning processes to neurotypical people. Sometimes I describe my executive functioning as tiny bubbles. Let me explain. When I'm delivering a lecture, having a conversation, or, like now, writing a book, there is very little structure. Like this book, it's more like a stream of consciousness. So imagine this. I make a statement. When I've made this statement, 10 or 20 metaphorical invisible bubbles with a diverse range of follow-on statements appear in front of me. So I pick one of them and all of the other bubbles disappear. They pop. It's happening to me right now as I write. Next, a whole new section of bubbles with a whole new selection of statements appear. So I choose another and poof, all of the other bubbles burst again. Repeat ad infinitum. This is why ADHD people often make such good storytellers. Tiny bubbles.
Thank you. So that would then imply that it impairs executive functioning based on how you're seeing things, and the way that you're seeing the tiny bubbles. And I thought it was absolutely amazing when you're talking about it, is when I ask you a question, whatever, you can sort of see all these things here, and you're searching around to which one am I going to pick up, and things like that along the way. And I know it's not like that all the time, and that's your...
Most of the time.
Yeah, but that's your way of dealing with executive functioning and that, because not, as we've established with other people we've spoken to, and you said, do you see tiny bubbles? And not everybody does, but some
but a
have.
lot do.
Yeah.
A lot do. They don't see the tiny bubbles,
yeah,
but it's a similar concept.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to you about getting up in the morning, getting dressed, having my shower, having my breakfast, getting on my bicycle and cycle to work. Only by the time an ADHD person, they've got dressed and they've got every intention of telling you what it's like in having the breakfast, but they're going to tell you about getting dressed and how those pyjamas came from Primark. Now, did you know that the biggest Primark is actually in Liverpool? And did you know that there was 2 boys, or one boy or someone, fell over the balcony in Primark and injured himself? Did you know the biggest cause of injuries in the home is usually at Christmas, putting on Christmas decorations? I love Christmas, don't you? What did you get last year? There's a lovely moment in The Big Bang Theory where Sheldon talks about his train of thought. And he said, let me tell you about my train of thought. And he goes through all these different things, which are unrelated to each other, but kind of just slightly tentatively related. And he finishes and he said, and then I thought about trains. So he brought it back to the train of thought.
Yes.
Right at the very end. That's what it's like. That's what it's like. Is it a disability? Is it a... I don't know. I mean, people like to listen to me speak.
Yeah, because but if you're in a group situation of friends or whatever, or you're out with your wife and she's in a group of other friends, but you're there alone, and you start doing that, if they don't know you and they're there to listen to, what's he doing? Why is he doing that? And oh my God, he's not listening to us. And then it's sort of, what's going on here? And then it does become a problem, doesn't it?
Can you imagine how much worse it was when I used to drink? You know, and that's a good example actually, because I was talking to somebody this week about it. So I went to a Northern Soul event, and there's all these people there, and there's a bar open all day and all night, and I don't drink. And the best example I can say is, if you're sober all the time, like I am, and you're in an environment with drunk people, and they're telling you stuff, trying to decipher why is he telling me this? Because I don't really have a concept of what it's like to be drunk anymore. It's been such a long time. And I'm like, this man's nuts. You know, he's not nuts, he's just had a few beers, you know. But that's, you know, his executive functioning's gone.
Yeah.
His executive functioning's gone. And he may wake up the next day and go, why did I say that?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I did it this morning. I did it actually this morning. So there's a woman I'm working with at Lincolnshire County Council, and she's been very supportive in a lot of ways about a lot of stuff. This is beautiful. And she says, she sent me this message to say, you might be interested in this article, it'd be really helpful. I'm applying to do some work with them. So thank you very much. And I said, and she, now bear in mind, she's kind of my line manager. So I emailed her back and I said, hi, Julie, we'll call her. Hi, Julie. Thanks ever so much for sending that over. You're a good egg. Willy Wonka said that. And sent it. And then I'm going, oh, why did I do that? There's the executive function's gone out the window, hasn't it?
Yeah. And
the next thing I know, she's emailed me back. She said, but she didn't email for like half an hour, so I've got a good half an hour to worry about. Oh, why did I say that? And she sent me a message back to say, does my new position as good egg get me a pay rise? And so, you know it's kind of work. But that's all about executive functioning.
Yeah.
You know, executive. And the best way is, if ever you're sober and you're talking to a drunk person, is to know what that feels like.
Yeah. So you said, is it disability? Is it not? I think the disability part comes in terms of, once you've said or done these things, it's the worry part afterwards and the anxiety that clings to that, because it does throw you off stride. And until you've got confirmation as, was it right, was it wrong, or whatever, that anxiety level is through the roof.
Yes, it is.
And that's where I think is the problem with executive functioning and understanding that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and you just put the word understanding in there. Again, I was due to observe a child last week. I think I told you. I drove all the way to South London and the kid didn't want to see me. Did I tell you about that? So I stayed over. Here we go. Executive function just went. I was going to tell you about this child, and what did I do? Talk to you about. I'm just about to say where I stayed, hotel, but forget it. It doesn't matter. But except for the fact that Mum contacted me to say he doesn't want to see you. He's swearing, he's shouting, he's got in a bad mood. He's la 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 la. And actually, I'm going, okay, am I going to get into trouble for this? Well, clearly not. I've not done anything wrong. The child just doesn't want to see me. But you see, as it adds up, you know. Yeah.
You're going off on that angry man at his wife for not wanting to go to dinner with his brother. 100%. It's the same sort of thing, isn't it?
And then the next thing I know, she rang me up and she said, look, we know it's not your fault, blah, blah, blah. I'm fine again then. Executive function will take you anywhere. The angry man. Yeah, wow. He really did. That was one of the points we talked about this morning. And he got all fretty about something. He didn't know if it was going to happen, did happen or not happen.
Yes.
So interesting stuff. But yeah, so is it? I don't know. When you do public speaking, I mean, I've won awards for my public speaking. And it's.
But in your executive functioning, it's really quite interesting, particularly when you're doing the workshops for me, is that you can get very sweary. And then you sort of look at it and say, is this all right, Gordon? Gone too far? Because you want to say, should I have I overdone it or whatever? Because you need that sort of...
I don't know where the boundaries are. They call that no filter.
Yeah.
That's executive functioning.
Yeah. And you because we have to do a small group and that, you actually say to your audience, so to speak, are you okay with this? Do I need to temper it down? And they actually love it. They love it, don't they? Because it's a matter of, oh my God, no one's ever done this to us before. Yeah.
Well, I think some of the parents, I think it does them good for me to be a bit sweary, because actually some of the parents, you know, they're kind of like, he's one of our people.
Yeah, they identify.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's funny when I bring my youngest son Ruben along, because every time I swear he goes, you know.
Instead of the adult doing that, my child doing this, it's the opposite way around.
It's my youngest child as well. My oldest child would be alright with it.